You are listening to GORCAST, you idiot.
So you were in just all over the South? You just got back from tour, basically?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it was 7 days. We did a Don't Tell in Birmingham, Alabama, and then we went to Atlanta, which is not far from Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
Did like 3 days in Atlanta. Then this didn't make sense routing-wise. We went to North Alabama to my college town to do a show.
Oh, nice.
Where I did radio for a long time.
Okay.
And then we finished off in Huntsville.
You were on the radio?
Yeah.
In your college?
I was a top 40. Well, yeah, so we can talk about that one. Yeah, but so I was a radio DJ. I went to school for communications. I dropped out after 2 years. I eventually started an internship at a radio station. I lied and told them that I was still in school. That internship, that fake internship turned into a real job, and I worked there for 6 years total, including the internship. So it was like the internship lasted like a year and some months, and then I got hired on overnights. Eventually, I worked my way up to afternoons, and I was the production director by the end. I was like making commercials and shit, all because I lied and told them I was still in school. Because they let me work for free because they thought I was getting hours.
Right.
But really, I was just trying to work there for free so that eventually they'd hire me on.
He's a straight A student. Let's let him get his internship hours.
Yeah,
in.
but
Did they ever find out?
I'm sure he knows now, and I think like my boss kind of knew. Like there was like a couple times where he asked me some questions, and I was like, "Yeah," like he was like, "What's the difference between AM and FM?" And I was like, "You're insulting my intelligence by asking me that," but really, I didn't know the answer.
What is the difference?
It's something to do.
One's boring as shit. The other one has music on it.
It's the types of like radio waves. Like AM comes in static, more staticky than FM. It's like something to do with the frequency.
Weird.
Because like because 102.7 was the FM frequency, but if you're on AM, it's like there's no point. It's like 1080 and stuff like that.
I just knew AM was always the one that sounded like shit.
It's always the one that sounds like shit. Yeah,
they all sounded like shit, or you'd find like a nice Christian and then the Lord.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It was like a talk thing. Yeah, they don't do AM as much. I think AM's out, FM's on the way out.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I feel like
hasn't it been? Who the fuck listens? I guess I listen to the radio because I'll get in my car and it'll just be on, and like it'll be a short trip, and so I'm like not going to plug my phone in. Yeah, you know what I mean?
There's an alternative rock station that I like in town. I'll listen to it if my phone's dead.
K1013 alt rock.
Yeah, I love that shit.
Yeah, dude.
So I'll listen to it. I still like it, but I do feel like it'll never completely go away because you need it for emergencies and shit like that. Like I think if the world ends,
when it's all over, it's going to be on fucking AM radio.
Dude, it's going to be on FM and AM radio to like. I think that it'll come back.
We interrupt this broadcast.
Yeah, if there's a civil war, I think people are going to be listening to FM radio again.
Dude, we're too fat and stupid to go to civil war, dude.
Dude, I'll be I mean, we're just
our civil war's happening on Twitter now.
We're fat, we're dumb, and we're addicted to our phones. If they just cut all that shit off right now, we'd be fucked.
People would go crazy. If they would have cut our phones off during COVID,
dude,
what would have happened?
You've
taken it too far.
Come on, Pookie, let's burn this motherfucker down. Is what? All
the wear your mask people, would have been like, and don't go outside, folks, would have been like, that's it. You've gone too far. I was all for this fucking disease shit.
Exactly.
I was all for this medical safety shit. Now this is fucked. You took my phone away from me. You took my games.
Yeah. Brian Simpson has that bit in his new special talking about how the only difference between liberals and conservatives was how long we gave a shit about COVID.
Yeah.
Like for liberals, it was around 2 years, and for conservatives, it was around 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
we did our two. We did the 2
we
weeks.
all gave a shit.
I mean, I guess I'm not really conservative. Yeah. I'm conservative by today's standards,
right?
Dude,
yeah, you're probably like a '90s Democrat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That was his premise of the bit. Was like everybody gave a shit and everybody was scared, but it was just a matter of how long you gave a shit and how long you were scared. Yeah. Thought it was really good. It's really good. If you've not seen that special.
I watched like part of it.
Yeah.
And I was like kind of distracted. I had somebody, I need to watch it alone.
I'm biased because he's my friend, but I think it's the best one this year so far.
Yeah.
I would put it above, and it's great. I would put it above Attell's.
He's just so chill the way he delivers stuff. He's
so
just
unique,
so relaxed,
so chill.
And then like by the time you're just like listening to this relaxed dude talk, like because it's comforting, you know what I mean? And then like he hits you with this like this good point or something like that.
He's
just like, Jesus Christ,
very good at making points, and he has a unique background too. Like who else do you know that's a comic that was like a foster kid and a Marine Corps veteran?
That's great. No,
like nobody. He's got like a very unique perspective on top
seen a
of
lot
his
of
like,
shit.
he's had a lot of life experience. He doesn't trust adults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just had him on your podcast, right?
Yeah, he was
you just started your pod,
I
right?
just started my pod. It's called Spooky Fun Time. Comedians Face Their Fears, where I talk to comics about their fears. So I start off like asking what your relationship with horror movies is. Like, do you like them? Don't like them? Why or why not? What's one that fucked you up when you were a kid? What's your favorite? Why do you like it? And then from that, we get into like physically what you're afraid of: spiders, needles, the gays, whatever. And and then from there, it's like existentially, what are you afraid of? Dying alone, going insane, things like that. And then just any stories they have, I try to fish for those. Like,
well, now I want to go through them, but then that would be doing your pod on my pod. We can't do that. We got to keep it separate.
We could do
dude.
a little tease.
We could do. I mean, why did you want to start? Why did you want that to be the premise for your pod? Where'd you get that idea?
So it started off. I wanted to do a podcast talking to comics about their mental health. Just because that's what interests me. I think it's really fun and funny when comedians get vulnerable. But I'm a fan of two already really good mental health podcasts: Joe List's Mindful Metal Jacket and Neil Brennan's Blocks podcast. And they get comics on, they talk about mental health and stuff. So I was like, okay, well, this is already done. I would just be doing it on a smaller scale with like my friends who are Austin comics. And then Brian Turner just did Blocks, Yeah. So I was like, what's a way? And then I love horror movies. I like that. That was like a niche. So like, through fear, I can still talk about my mental health and ask about yours, like as far as the existential fears and stuff go.
The horror movie like scene is like a cult. Like anything horror related, people love that.
Yes, I figured since I'm not famous, I needed to have a niche. Like I wanted to have a specific format and not just me talking to another comic about comedy.
Sure,
which I love those podcasts. I listen to those all the time, but there's a lot of those. So I just wanted to have something a little different, like a niche. A little niche to like carve out my little thing. And so far it's really fun. And it's easy for me because I have these, I can rotate in new questions, but I can ask the same questions because everybody's going to be something. Like Brian didn't believe in anything, but then I just had, it's not out yet, might be out by the time this is out. I need to release it today actually, whenever I get it from my producer, Brandon Lejean. Shout out Brandon Lejean. I'm releasing Jay Legend's episode. Have you met Jay Legend yet?
I did, yeah. He came in here and produced. I did an episode for like a one-off episode for High Noon.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, so Jay and I have become friends, and
he's cool.
He's cool as fuck. I just had him on.
He's from Florida too, right?
He's a Tampa comic. He's originally from Chicago.
Okay.
But I had him on. That motherfucker believes in ghosts. He's religious. He's superstitious.
So you want the most superstitious people that
I want
like people are afraid of black cats crossing the middle of the road is who you want to get on the pod.
Here's what I want is a balance between those two things. Like I don't care if you don't like horror movies, I'll have you on. I'll still have you on because that's interesting. Why don't you? Did you watch one too young? Because I have a theory that if you show a kid a too fucked up horror movie too young, you're fucking them up with horror movies for life. Now my friends who are into like Are You Afraid of the Dark and Goosebumps, and then they slowly graduated to more fucked up horror movies. Gateway horror, like because those are people whose parents are into them.
You can't start with Terrifier 2 at age 5.
You can't start with Hereditary. You're never gonna watch another goddamn horror movie.
You're either
again.
gonna think they're not scary.
Yes.
Or you're going to be like, this is fake, it's bullshit.
Yes.
Or you're going to be desensitized to it, or you're going to be too sensitive to it.
Yes. And I find that religious people are scared of different things than non-religious people. You might, like a non-religious person might love The Exorcist, whereas a religious person won't watch that motherfucker because it's real to them.
I feel like I haven't seen enough of like the classic horror movies. Like I just in the last couple of years saw Hellraiser for the first time.
Okay, did you like it?
Yeah,
it's fun. Right?
It's funny. It's like the old ones are kind of like funny. Right?
Those are my favorites.
Right.
All of my favorites. Like I love A Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors. Like all my favorites.
Oh, that scene where the girl or guy gets sucked into the bed and then blows.
That's the first one. That's Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
actually.
Johnny Depp
he gets sucked in the bed and then it explodes. The way they did that, it was an upside down spinning room with like a spinning camera, and that's actually the bed's on the ceiling, and they're like pouring fake blood out of the hole.
Nowadays, they just shoot the blood up in the air, right?
Yes,
through a hole in the bed.
Well, they used a lot of practical. Now, still they'll still use some practical effects, but a lot of it is CGI. I think the best way to do it is like, from what I understand, is like do the practical effect and then kind of cover up the seams with CGI. That makes like the scariest movie to me. Okay. You know, it's got to be somewhat real. Like it's a actual, like an alien. Like when they're cutting open that alien, that was actually like clams that they shoved inside a thing,
Ew,
and so it's actually gross. Yeah, and like it stank on set and stuff, and the reactions to it on set of people going like, oh, like that was real.
That stuff is so cool. That fucking movie magic shit.
Yes,
the behind the scenes.
It's
shit.
especially the '80s and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of that.
I just saw one that really, I think what gets me more, and not to try to do your you
no,
can
please.
stop me at any time
no,
if you're like, dude, you're wasting your episode.
No,
right?
this is great.
I'm assuming I get to come on. I don't know.
Yeah, I would love to have
I would
you.
love to come through.
Yeah, and there's
it's
always
Creek,
more.
right? You're doing
I'm doing it Creek in the Cave.
Sweet. But I think I'm more of like this, like I don't want to, maybe psychological horror movies or thrillers, like that movie Smile.
Yeah.
Like shit that makes you feel uncomfortable and like weird. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? I like weirder shit versus just somebody sawing off a limb, you know? Like I remember the one that we used to go see or go watch all the time was like Hostel back in the day. We were kids. Remember Hostel?
Yes.
That's just like silly, gross gore.
Yes.
And like too much gore almost like pushes it over to like a funny
right.
like,
they're scarier
area.
if they stay psychological and they're not over the top gory.
Yeah.
I was trying to think while you were talking, I was trying to think of one that you would like, and I can't remember what it was called.
You know what I'm talking about though? Those are they're like different.
Yeah,
They're
Smile, because Smile was more about like, I mean, the underlying context was like mental health and like suicide and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
but for me, it's like when they put the light on that girl and she's got her creepy face and whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, ugh, like that.
Is it
that kind of shit freaks me out.
Following, there's a movie. No, okay. Well, there's a horror movie about. It's basically like an STD, and there's, it's like a curse that's sexually. It follows. I try to look the following.
It Follows.
Yeah, you need to watch
I'll look it up.
It Follows. So It Follows is about a curse that is sexually transmitted. So. But it's the monster.
Wait, aren't all STDs curses? Dude?
Exactly. I mean, I think that's what this movie is kind of a metaphor for.
Written by someone with gonorrhea. You know what I mean? Like,
if you've ever had gonorrhea, that's a goddamn horror movie.
Dude, I've been with the same girl for 10 years. So
I had chlamydia twice in college. No gonorrhea.
Shit. Yeah.
Now you know that.
Yeah, now we know that.
I'm too honest on these fucking podcasts.
No,
That's
great.
great.
No, it's good.
But
which time? What'd you like better, the first or the second time you had it?
I guess the first time, because the second time, I the first time because I just like went to the doctor and found out I had it. The second time was like I had a lady text me and she was like, "Hey, you gave me. I'm not mad at you, but I have chlamydia and you got to go get checked."
Damn. Did you ever go on a second date with her, dude?
We hung out, and I actually saw her whenever I went home recently. She's not a comic.
I was gonna say because then she'd be ripped. Old dirty dick over here. You know what I mean?
I'd be fucked,
dude. Yeah, she just out you right to hang. You know.
Oh, so It Follows. It's a sexually transmitted curse. They like all the STDs. And there's a monster, so when the curse is passed to you, this monster just follows you constantly. It moves slow, and it looks like a random person. It just walks towards you slowly, and if it gets to you, you die. And the way you got to pass it so it'll stop following you. And you have sex
with
with
someone. Like a
someone.
kidney stone?
Yes. You got to pass that thing like a kidney stone. You pass it off to somebody else, and then now the monster's slowly chasing them. If they die, it starts coming back to you. Damn. So you got to inform the person that you just gave it to, hey, this thing's coming after you now. Sorry, I did this to you, but you need to pass it.
So it's just like texting somebody and being like, hey.
Yeah, hey, this is your problem now. Yeah. I made it your problem, but you need to pass it to somebody else so it's their problem and not yours. Yeah. It's not. Oh, and the thing, you were talking about feeling unsettled and stuff.
Yeah.
So like Stanley Kubrick was famous for this. And that guy that did, I don't know who it is that did It Follows, but they put things in these movies to purposely make you feel unsettled. Like throughout It Follows, you don't know what season it is or what time period it is in. It seems like current time. All the cars are like 80s cars, like the main car that's on the cover of the movie. It's like an old Impala. Mm-hmm. And then there's like, you don't know what scene, like one scene, the main girl will be laying in a swimming pool. And then the next scene, they're walking down the street wearing big coats. And then there's like a girl with a cell phone, like they're looking for something at one point. Her phone is like a conch shell, or a clam, and she like opens it up, and then it's like a futuristic touchscreen phone. Like, so they purposely put things like that in these movies to just give you this unsettling feeling throughout. Kubrick used to have like windows that didn't actually go anywhere and stuff, and it's just little subtle and like camera angles that are slightly off.
Yeah.
So it's like they put things in like that. So just throughout the movie,
purposeful continuity errors.
yes, to make you just give you this subconscious unsettled feeling.
One of them for me is like in that Smile movie, like they're hallucinating shit, right? In throughout the whole movie. Any movie where people are hallucinating shit freaks me out. Where they're like looking at something and it gets all fucked up and weird, and then it's like she's not talking to anybody. There's nobody there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "Who are you? Okay?" You know?
I'm getting chills thinking about it right now.
And I don't know why that creeps me out way worse than like a killer chasing somebody through the woods, like just for some reason and then throughout the rest of the movie, it's like it builds a lack of trust for what's going on.
Yes.
So like if anything's happening, you're like, is this bitch seeing this shit again?
Yes, it's an unreliable narrator.
Oh yeah.
They do that a lot in books and stuff because you start to this person's telling you this story and then you stop believing what they're telling you.
You know a lot of shit, bro.
You
a movie major? Are you filming?
No, communications, radio.
Okay.
But I just like movies and I regurgitate things that I hear.
Yeah, you do have a voice for radio.
Yeah,
dude.
thank you.
What did you do when you were on the radio?
I was a radio personality. I started off as like an intern. I was like getting coffee and filing stuff. And like wearing a tie to work and stuff, and then that turned. And then
they're
I was
like, Brent, where's the coffee? And then like from the other room, they're like, well, and they hear your voice,
and they're like, he's perfect.
Yeah, we need him on the.
Get that boy in front of a microphone.
Boy in the studio right now.
It's like a Goodwill Hunting situation.
Yeah.
They just found me in the alleyway talking into a broomstick.
He's perfect. He's built for this.
Yeah,
I love that shit.
So started off as an intern, and then they gave me like the midnight to 5 a.m. air shift. I didn't actually have to do it live. I did sometimes.
It's just you in a room in the dark hours of the morning.
Yes, but also like a lot of radio is automated now, so I could go in and like voice track if I wasn't going to be able to be there overnight. Because I also had another job when I was in the internship. I worked at a convenience store in my college town. It was called Little Steve's in Florence, Alabama. We at the time we sold spice and shit. Remember
shit.
That's a controlled substance.
Yeah.
Now. We sold
you're
it.
probably responsible for somebody's death, dude.
Probably. Fucking probably. That shit was
good
bad.
upbeat pod
yeah,
talk.
it would. The way it worked, it was like air duster. Your brain would like swell up against your skull, from what I understand.
Air duster was wild. I can't believe we did that. I don't know if you ever did that.
Yeah, the wah-wahs. I did it like twice. You know, the wah.
I always related to it. Felt like a grenade went off in the room, dude. So Little Steve's, you're working at Little Steve's?
Yeah, and then going in, and then the recording, and I was like so tired all the time. I'd go to the radio station, leave the radio station, go straight to the convenience store. Eventually, they gave me that overnight shift. Then I'm filling in on afternoons. They didn't have a lot of money. This guy, Jamie Copeland, who taught me a lot of stuff, they let him go, which sucks. But then I kind of took his spot.
Okay.
And then now I'm the afternoon guy. And then I get hired on full time. They're like, Brent, can you like put a commercial together? I'm like, yeah, Jamie taught me how to do that. So now I'm like producing commercials and
doing voiceover for commercials?
Doing a lot of voiceovers for commercials. I've done.
Did you do the thing where you talk really fast and you're like, special rules apply?
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah, disclaimers at the end. You speed it up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't think. I used to probably have one of those memorized.
Do you have anything locked from back then? Anything memorized from back then that like you're like, hey, it's Brent Reed on the morning morning five.
It was always
countdown.
Gotcha.
Like that.
The Shoals #1 hit music station, 102.7 Kiss FM. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Brent Reed. We got the High Five at 5 coming up in 5 minutes. Keep it locked right here on 102.7 Kiss FM.
Ooh, that gave me some chills, dude. Honestly, you still got it.
Yeah,
dude.
Still got it, baby. I just redid my resume. I may try to get a radio job in Austin, but for now the podcast is kind of scratching that broadcasting itch for me.
Yeah, that's good.
So I like interviewing people.
You just enjoy it.
Yeah, I enjoy it a lot.
I feel you were talking about. I think this kind of goes in with like the whole mental health of like comics. I feel like I've met a lot of comics. I feel like they all. It's the same thing with music where they think that there's stuff they need to be doing, right? And they need a podcast.
Yeah.
And that's an issue because it's like they kind of have to you have to figure out how to love it. I almost feel like, because like I got into comedy through podcast. I took a weird back door into stand-up.
We all take weird back doors into different things.
Path.
It's not, this world isn't linear.
Yeah.
We're all carving out some weird career path for ourselves. It's not like there's something you could do. It's not like other jobs. It's like, you start here and then you move here and then you go here. It's like, comedy's all over the place.
Right.
Like you can be climbing the ladder slowly, then some motherfucker that just started comedy 2 seconds ago like jumps up past you, and that's okay. It's not linear,
But it just seems like it's like they're trying to do podcasting because I think they have to versus like because they want to. I feel like I see that a lot, and I'm like, I fucking just love these. I got obsessed with them. You know what I mean? Like, I was watching Your Mom's House a lot. Like when right after I moved here, I kind of got into it before I left Oregon, and I was like, okay. And so I started my own in Oregon. I brought this podcast here. And so I was doing it in my living room. It looked like shit. And I was like, I have all these cameras. Like, how are these guys making this shit look so fucking good?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I nerded down, deep dived on all this gear and shit. And like, I just like love it. As soon as we leave, Ridley's coming in here. And then I'm doing another podcast for people that use the studio after that. So it's just like, I love that. I love this shit.
Well, you're doing
I feel bad if people have to like figure out how to like it. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Because I could see how it would be like rough.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that was where I was. I always wanted to do a podcast, but never like settled on an idea. My buddy Elliot White and I tried to do one in like just kind of about our friendship in Huntsville. We recorded a couple episodes. I was going to produce it and just never got around to it. We just put it off, and then eventually, I moved. So there's like 2 episodes. I still have them somewhere. There's 2 episodes of this podcast that I may put out sometime.
You should.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Patreon it.
Yeah,
dude.
Exactly.
The secret specials.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Extra shit. Bonus features.
Yeah, but I didn't want to do it till. I never want to half-ass things, but that turns into me procrastinating and just never doing them.
I don't want to half-ass things, so let's not do it at all.
Yeah. So finally, with this fear thing, with Spooky Fun Time, I was like, okay, well, this is an idea that I actually like, and I think I will enjoy doing.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, and it has been super
stoked
fun.
to jump back in front of a microphone.
Yes, I'm so pumped. I like interviews.
You're a natural,
thank you, brother. I don't think I think I just have experience and I got good at it because I didn't. I know I have a little bit of an accent now, but it used to be much thicker, and I slowly got rid. And especially when I can hear myself, I think it goes away even more.
Really?
Because
can you pull it out? Dude?
I can pull it out.
Oh shit!
And that's more my dad.
Yeah, your dad.
Yeah, me and your mama gonna watch a sexy tape. I don't switch his TV to DVD. You know?
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's Marlon Reed. But yeah, it definitely comes out, especially when I've been drinking, or like you said, when I've been around my parents and stuff for a while.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that before we started.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
And it comes out more on stage. Like I do it. I go in and out of it a lot on stage. But it's not. They're both me. Like I had a comic recently. He just passive aggressively was like, "Yeah, I noticed you changed your voice on stage." Oh, but I don't. He
was trying to call you out.
Yeah, he was trying to call me out, and I explained to him. I was like, "Well, I worked in radio for a while. My accent's not as thick as it used to be, but it comes out certain times." I go in and out of it, and they're both me.
Yeah,
it's all me. But just sometimes I'm Radio Brent, and sometimes I'm 12, like small town of 1,200 people.
Forms,
Brent.
dude.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like
this isn't even my final form.
You're like Cell from Dragon Ball Z, dude. Like watch that Dragon Ball out there in Alabama, dude.
That reminds, we did. I did. That reminds me of, I saw that clip you guys did, the Ridley's Vegeta impression.
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
So, Kakarot.
Kakarot. Yeah, he's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's like, leave me alone, brother. I was in my zone on stage, dude. I slipped back into Alabama.
Yeah,
Reed,
and it definitely
Brent
does. Like, I think I'm more myself now in Austin than I ever have been. Like, I'm embracing being from Alabama, whereas when I was in Alabama doing comedy for 3.5 years, I was trying to be not as Alabama to, like, stand out from the rest of the comics.
Well, yeah, you always hear country musicians write about, like, girls hiding their accent.
Yeah,
like that. Is that a Southern thing where people like don't want people to know that they're Southern? They're like embarrassed by it or something?
When I was in radio, I worked really hard to completely rid myself of it because I wanted to have a neutral accent for radio. And that's where it went away. So like when you're hearing yourself every single day, like if you listen to like early recordings, I don't have any, I could find some probably, but if you listen to early recordings of when I first started, my accent is much thicker than like the last like couple years where I really started getting good. I was getting good and then I got fired.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
How'd you get into doing were you doing stand-up when you were doing the radio stuff?
There was some crossover, but not much. Okay. Like I think I was doing stand-up comedy maybe not even a year before I got fired. So like the last 6 or 8 months I was doing stand-up comedy and then got the axe. They just said that it wasn't anything dramatic. I mean, my attitude was dwindling. They would pay us late a lot and stuff. It was just a struggling business.
Like, hey, this job sucks and you're not happy about it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna fire you.
But
Jesus
back then, I
Christ.
also wasn't good at like talking about I've been in therapy a while now. I wasn't good then at like expressing my feelings or setting boundaries with people.
Yeah.
So I developed a lot of resentment towards my coworkers. And then I really was like a dick at the end. Yeah. And
what were you doing?
Okay,
dude?
I'll tell you a story. So one time I filled in on the morning show, and it was me. I was filling in for my boss. There was a lot of turnaround in that radio station where people would quit and come back.
That sounds like it sucked. They didn't pay people on time.
Yeah, and they would just get mad and quit, and then they would be like, "Oh, I need the job again," and then my boss would be like, "Yeah, sure, come on back." And I made a point to like I kind of cut off contact with my ex-boss for a little while. Like there was a time he reached out to me, and I don't know if he was going to hire me again. Probably not. He was just wanting to do a project together or something. I didn't. I was like, I'm not going back. I'm not going to be another one of those people that quit that radio station and come back. So there was one guy who I was good friends with who essentially introduced me to all those guys. He got me the job, essentially. He was my friend. We were similar in age. He was like, may have been a year older than me. And he was like he wasn't a stand-up, like he wasn't a talking type. He was good at talking, but he was a party DJ. He like DJ'd clubs and would travel and do
Put those
that.
drinks in the air.
Yeah, and he was also like, he was a little delusional. Like he thought he was gifting new music to the masses. You know what I'm saying?
You are playing your playlist.
Yeah,
dog.
it's like, dude, you're a very good DJ, but that's what you are.
Yeah.
You're a very good DJ.
It's a human jukebox, brother.
Yeah. And so he quit. Eventually, quit a couple times. I think he quit that job like 3 times. Came back for like the 3rd or 4th time, and we're, it's back in the saddle again. We're best friends. We're doing stuff on the radio together. It was fun. When he came back that last time, I was had climbed up the ranks a bit, and he was no longer ahead of me.
He didn't like that.
And when we both filled in on the morning show, I was in what we called it was a small operation, so I would be doing the 1s and 2s like Tony is and hosting, and then the other person would just be sitting across doing nothing. So we were filling in
That would be so hard. I'm trying to talk to you and like
Yeah, but it wasn't as complicated on the radio. You just like raise a fader, you have like some buttons like that are all touch screen, so it wasn't that hard. It was a little like stressful, but it wasn't too bad. And so I was in the driver's seat. We were filling in for a few days for my boss, Tic Tac, who was the host of the morning show, went to Michigan to visit his family. His mom, this is going to come back. This is the reason I'm bringing this up. His mom was dying of cancer. And so he was with his family in Michigan, and probably shouldn't have said his name, but I just said his radio name. But so he's
I can cut it out.
Yeah, okay. He's in Michigan, and we're filling in. We fill in one day. I'm in the driver's seat. Hunter seems pissed the whole time.
He's mad because you took his spot.
Yeah, and the next day he didn't talk to me about it. The next day he just got to work early and sat in the driver's seat.
Oh.
And I was like,
passive aggressive.
Yeah,
He
I was
took
like,
shotgun, dude.
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, all right, whatever. I'll just drink coffee and make jokes. Who cares?
Easier for me anyway.
Yeah,
brother.
I was like, I don't give a shit. But you could have talked to me about it, but I didn't say anything. And then we're talking about something. I remember like making a joke, and he was wanting the segment to end. I threw in one more zinger, and he like threw down the fader and like threw off his headphones.
You threw in another zinger.
Yeah, and
you're killing.
But
you're just killing on the radio, and he's pissed.
But he didn't communicate to me that that's what he wanted. He was just being a dick. He was being a little passive aggressive bitch. And he was turned away from me and had his headphones back on, and I was like, Hunter. And I threw the pen at him and hit him in the back with it to get his attention.
Through the mic, you were saying his name?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, I can't remember. It was we were off
funny.
the air.
Hunter.
Yeah, so the mics weren't
Heads
live.
up.
So I think I was just like, Hunter, and I threw the pen and hit him in the back, and you would have thought I fucking killed his mom in front of him. Like he just made a huge deal about it, and then when it got to my boss, he was like, Brent got mad and threw shit at me. But I didn't. But then that story held up because just like previously I had kind of gone off on the sales manager. I was in a creative position and I was writing commercials, and I would write this super fun, attention grabbing spot. And then this lady would be like, hey, can you just put their phone number in there like 5 times? And I'm like, well, that's going to be the whole commercial. And no one's going to give a shit about that phone number. You want like an attention grabbing. And she's like, well, this is what they want. Can you just do what they want so we can get their money? I was like, sure, I'll do exactly what they want. You'll get this first paycheck. And in 3 months, they're not going to renew their contract because their commercial fucking sucks and nobody gives a shit about that phone number.
With it,
yeah. So they're seeing no return on investment. But I was like, sure, I'll fucking do it. And I did this half-ass spot for her. And then she went and told my boss that I said that I wasn't going to do what she wanted me to do.
Jesus.
And I was, so
that
it
place
kind of
sounds terrible. It was
toxic.
It sucks because what we do like here, like this kind of stuff, podcasting, it's so fun and like the whole premise of it is that there's no rules.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that there's no overlords, overseers.
Exactly.
And like,
that was the first.
What you're sounding like, it sounds like it's like podcasting with office politics.
Exactly.
It just goes to show you why like everything has to be kind of at least remotely independent.
Yeah.
At least YMH is cool.
Exactly.
You know
Well, that's
at least
the thing
they're
too.
cool people to work for. I don't know. I haven't worked for them, but I know
yeah.
people that do.
And that was the thing too, is now I can kind of find my own audience, whereas on that radio station I was talking to like an 18 to 35 female audience, some of like with all these different values and stuff. So it's like you would make an edgy joke at the wrong time in the afternoon or in the morning. And they're like, well, my kid was in the car. It's like,
Brent, you said wiener on today's broadcast.
I cannot believe you said wiener. Yeah. My daughter is crying because you said wiener.
My Christian daughter from Alabama is bawling her eyes out because
she had to blow her nose in her Hello Kitty tank top.
I had to explain to my 15-year-old daughter what a wiener is.
Exactly. So anytime I would get in trouble, anytime like a little bit of myself leaked out. So that's
now you're 100% you, brother.
Oh, but I can't remember when this was timeline-wise, but I remember being on the morning show with that same dude, and that was when Mike it was another day that he was out of town. I think this may have been a straw that broke the camel's back too. This was on 9/11/2019, and he was out of town visiting his sick mom, and somebody tattled on me and said, Brent's doing the morning show. It was me. It wasn't Hunter. It was me and another co-host, my friend Jamie.
Drama.
Me and Jamie were on the radio, and I think I played a little like audio thing acknowledging that it was 9/11 at the beginning, but we hadn't talked about 9/11 all morning because it's 2019. It was 8 years ago. I'm a top 40 radio DJ. I have no hot takes on 9/11.
Right.
Like, we don't need to, we can acknowledge once an hour maybe, like, hey, we know what today is, remember the fallen, you know, and then just keep it moving. But somebody tattled on me and was like, told my boss, like, Brent hasn't talked about 9/11 all morning. And so I got in trouble for that. And then so Hunter's
what the fuck are you supposed to? The globalists. I guess you're supposed to go full Alex Jones. Like they want you to.
So Hunter was there because this was him that said this. It must have been all three of us because I remember. So our boss was like, "Hey, the radio family doesn't know why I'm out. Call me on the phone lines. I'll talk about my mom and kind of tell why I'm absent today." I was okay. So we took a break from talking about 9/11.
Way to kill the mood, Mike.
We took a break from talking about 9/11 to talk about his mom's cancer.
Oh no, dude! This is the worst radio show in the mornings.
Dude, in the first thing in the morning. And
hey, good morning. We're going to talk about 9/11. It was terrible. And right back to you, Mike, about your dying mother.
Yeah, I just always tried to keep the momentum moving forward.
Right.
And maybe that's okay to do this stuff, but maybe that's just something that I wasn't meant to do. I'm meant to do this and like talk about whatever the fuck I want. But so I remember this line that Hunter said was, he said, yeah, if you think about it, cancer is kind of like the 9/11 on our bodies. Like earnestly, like not making a joke. And
he was dead serious. He was trying to make a sick point.
I cracked up, and he got so mad at me. I was dying laughing. I was like, and, you know, everybody's like trying to be serious.
It's
I was
kind of like the 9/11 on our bodies.
Yeah, I was like, that's nuts that you said that.
Holy Jesus Christ, dude.
There was just a lot of people that took themselves too seriously.
And you're the one that got in trouble? They were like, "Great work, Hunter. Great work. You really blended those two things together."
Yeah. That was a good analogy. Cancer is like 9/11. Insane. And
so you're happy to not be in Alabama anymore?
Yeah. I miss it. It was really good to go home.
You talk about it a lot on stage, right?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I feel like I'm more myself and I'm more proud to be from Alabama now that I'm not there.
You think you can, like, because I feel like I'm able to kind of like look at where I'm from third person now, or where I came from, I guess.
Now that I'm not there, I'm happier. I embrace it. I'm very proud to be from Alabama, and I have empathy towards, like, you know, a lot of the people there, and like, the whole thing, like people just assume everybody's retarded, and there's such good people there. Not great opinions. Facebook's a real bummer.
The loudest ones are always on the internet.
Yeah, well, C.J. Landry has that great. I keep quoting my friend's bits, but he's like, the South is known for two things: racism and hospitality. It's like, boy, you better get off my lawn, but take some biscuits with you. It's a lot of that. It's like their opinions on people aren't great, but they would mostly never say it to anyone's face, and they're very nice. Like they'll help a black guy change his tire and then leave and then probably talk shit about him.
Really?
You know what I'm saying?
Still out there like that, you think?
A lot. Some people are. Yeah, but the more like Huntsville, where I did comedy, not a lot of that. Very progressive. Birmingham is very progressive. But you're gonna have like bad people everywhere.
Is racism just kind of constantly something that people talk about and complain about there, though? The only reason I ask that is because like I'm from Portland, Oregon, so like almost a polar opposite of where you're from, and it's like I grew up. I didn't feel like there was a bunch of racism around. You know what I mean? And then like we're supposed to be pretty progressive people, right? But then like it got all hot in the media and everything, and like all the Black Lives Matter stuff really just turned it into like it's like all anyone ever talks about, and like you feel like you're walking on eggshells. You try to make a joke, like there's no joking around out there. There's no racially horsing around.
Right,
you know what I mean,
right.
dude?
I think it's getting, and this is a hot take from a white guy, but I think it's getting better.
In Alabama,
yeah, I think that for the most part, people are nice, and now they have the trans to be mad at.
That's good, dude. That's hilarious.
No, it's I think people try, and like I said,
the crosshairs off the
and
people.
we're getting a lot more people from outside of Alabama that are moving there. Like Huntsville is like a big place for like engineers and stuff now. And NASA, and then like Birmingham is getting a lot of people from outside the city.
All those woke smarts coming in, dude.
So Birmingham's very woke smart.
Game, dude.
Huntsville's turning woke smart, and I think it's a good thing. For the most part.
Sure, they need. I think it's almost like people from Portland that are like protesters or like people that complain on Twitter all the time.
Yeah,
they should go and do like mission trips to places where there is real racism.
Yeah, well, exactly, exactly.
Go be annoying in Alabama.
Yes, the people.
You're not changing anything.
Right,
you're just annoying people that are already not racist.
I have this line every time I go to Birmingham. It's like, hey guys, just before we get started, no matter how progressive you are, it doesn't make your grandma any less racist. We know what she calls Brazilian nuts when doors are closed.
Oh, yeah.
I always had that line.
Dude.
Yeah, but it's just like there needs to be a balance. I think that it would be helpful for like everybody to be just exposed to more perspectives and just I'm getting this. And is gay,
it's
but
funny. Yeah, it's funny how different like.
It's okay to agree to disagree. We're never going to agree on everything, but it's good to be exposed to different perspectives, like religious people, non-religious people, conservatives, liberals. They all need to mix and be around each other, I think.
Yeah, in Portland, it's just too one-sided. It's just too crazy, wackadoodle, liberal.
Way one-sided
psycho.
on either side is bad. The extremes are bad both ways. This extreme and this extreme.
When you're seeing like a homeless dude like shoot fentanyl in his arm in front of a school and then burn another tent down, and you're like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's something like there is an awe to it.
Yeah.
Like it is sad that these people are fucked up, but then at a certain point of the city being trashed, you got to be like, dude, fucking, where's the cops now? We can't have those either. Oh shit! We're fucked.
Yeah, it's all tribes.
Yeah,
it's all like my side is right and yours is wrong. The South is very tribalistic. If you look at football. It's very tribal. It's like my team is good and then yours is bad. When I was a kid, like, when you're a kid and they're like, hey, what's your favorite color, buddy? One of the most common questions as a little kid growing up in Alabama was like, Alabama or Auburn? Like they're dividing us right at the beginning, know?
Don't you go talking to Billy now. Yeah. He's an Auburn fan.
And like there was one kid that I remember, Alabama when Saban got hired, praise his name.
I don't know shit about football, dude. It's lost on me.
You know who Nick Saban is?
No.
No, really?
No.
Okay, well, he's like the most successful, most winning coach from Alabama in the past, and he just retired.
Yeah.
He was like our savior. He was the next Bear Bryant. He was like historically.
Alabama's the Tide, right?
Yeah, Crimson Tide.
So that's who we're talking about.
And then Auburn Tigers. They're not as winning right now, but we do the Iron Bowl every year. It's always a very competitive game. It's Alabama versus Auburn. It's big rivalry. A lot of tribalism. They get literally mad at each other. When I was in high school, Alabama was winning a lot. Auburn wasn't. There was a kid that was notoriously our whole lives an Auburn fan. You knew who the Auburn fans and the Alabama fans were. We'd wear gear and shit all the time. And when he switched, he turned coat because he just got tired of losing and wanted to be an Alabama fan.
Yeah.
And he got bullied endlessly.
Oh
like, you piece of
what
shit.
was his name?
Jared.
You're gonna dox him.
Oh, is that dogs?
No, I don't know.
What you're supposed to do and what not to do.
I
You
don't know.
can bleep that.
I was just hoping Jared would be
Jared.
good, but they call him Auburn Jared, dude.
Yeah,
What color was it? Blue?
Auburn Jerry. Yeah, maybe write down that timestamp, take out his last name.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you write that down, Tony?
So sorry.
No, you're good, dude. Don't apologize to
Sorry
me.
to Jared.
Apologize to Jared, dude.
Sorry, Jared.
Nerd. Fucking dork. Yeah, you fucking apologize. Yeah, exactly. You team changing piece of shit. We don't forget.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have asked for his name. That was my fault.
No,
that was bad hosting.
You're
Dude.
fine.
I'm an amateur.
Yeah, there was a lot. But I think that carries over to politics too. A lot of people in the South, they like being part of a team. So that's why we're so like pro. Like a lot of them are pro one side is because they feel like they're part of a team.
Both sides, like on both sides, like at the furthest level of both sides of like the liberalness or the conservativeness, it's just like
There's psychos
so
on,
cringy.
Yeah, there's psychos on both sides.
And you start to agree with one, and you're like, and then they do something, you're like, oh.
You can. That's the thing. It's like you don't have to go extreme. You can like look at each policy, each thing by yourself and decide what you want. You don't have to be like,
less fun.
well, that is less fun than being part of a team.
So much more fun to hate the other side.
Yeah, and wearing a guy's name on your hat and shit. It's like,
dude, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Like I'm like
it's
that's
nuts.
lost.
I mean, that was
steam.
like they liked it because they they went from wearing Alabama and Auburn hats to wearing
Trump hats.
Yeah, Trump hats.
Yeah, and they know they could get on a plane and fire some shit up.
Yeah,
dude.
and then it's like, if you disagree with one thing that they say, they assume you're like completely extreme the other side. Like you're a fucking, it's like, nah, I just disagreed with that one thing you said, or like several things that you said probably.
To wear a Trump hat, unironically, dude.
To wear any man's merch that's not on a football team
or like a musician
is nuts.
Is crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's so silly. Like even like if I wore, I'm not saying anything one way or another. If you wear a Biden hat, I think you're fucking crazy.
Dude, yeah, you've really lost it, dude.
Yeah, I think we're coming together on that.
It kind of in a weird way brought our country together a little bit.
The fact that everybody thinks he sucks.
I'm kind of amazed that we're like almost halfway through the year. It's like people still don't realize yet that like it's coming up.
Yeah.
Like the election's coming up. Dude.
Yeah.
They're not even like pushing it hard on us yet. Like
maybe it'll be different this time and the tribalism will be less.
Is it like a we fucked up and elected like a really shitty dude and they like is it a tail between the legs kind of election? Is that what it is? And there's some silent like votes for the other side now cuz
well, here's my hope is that we can all just agree that they all suck.
And this is a sham bam, dude.
This is a sham. They all suck and we need to come together. That like all of them suck.
Hey, you were distracting us with COVID last time around. This time around, we got you guys all suck. We got your number this time.
It works out for somebody that we're all divided.
Yeah,
because we're not coming together. You know,
that's how they make all the dough.
If we all got along, that would be scary as fuck for the big guys.
Yeah, I think it's impossible.
It's impossible. We're never gonna agree on everything. It's never gonna be
fun.
No,
it's just not as fun, and we're too bored nowadays. Yeah, we have a breadth of technology at a hand's reach, an arm's length away.
Exactly,
and it's not fun to just be like, hey, why don't we all love each other?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's more fun to be like, that guy sucks.
Right, but maybe we can all be mindful of that.
Yeah.
And just be like, well, this is just...
I agree with you. I'm just saying, I don't think you're going to sell this to the fish brain population of people that can't focus on anything.
But if people could just be mindful of it and just be like, yeah, I don't like the other side because it's fun to do this.
Yeah.
Like, that would be
kind of fun because I like to riff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like posting my anti-liberal memes.
Yeah, I like shit posting.
Or my anti-conservative memes. They like, it's fun.
If we all held hands in a circle and we're together as one nation, then I wouldn't be able to shitpost anymore.
Yeah, and that's the problem is that we all know each other's opinions now.
Yeah.
Like used to, you would just live your whole life and not know politically what a certain old lady in your neighborhood believed in, but now she can post it all the time, and she does.
Totally. Yeah, and I feel like it's, in a weird way, it seems like we're going back to like the age that we were brought up in, I feel like, which is like, you know, don't talk about politics at the dinner table, right? Don't ask so and so who they're voting for.
Yeah, I don't like to be political on stage.
Yeah, since we're talking about people's bits and shit, Chappelle had that like iconic bit in one of his first stand-ups where he was like, you don't ask somebody who they're married to, you know, it's like, oh, so it's like, hey, who'd you vote for? Whoa, Dave, you know, so I was fucking my wife in your ass the other night. You know what I mean? It's like, it's basically like they'll share everything with you but that. And then it's like, since that aired, it's completely changed. People are so quick to put out their opinions as long as they're not like in jeopardy of losing their jobs or some shit over it.
But now
which is so weird. People have like lost jobs because they like went on a Trump tirade on the internet. I love Donald Trump, and which is weird to do. So yeah, I mean, it's probably good that you fire a person that's like willing to put their political beliefs out there like that, but still kind of weird.
I think he was a voice actor. He was somebody that worked on the set of Baldur's Gate 3. Have you played that video game?
I have not.
It's my favorite video game of all time.
Is it that good?
So, well, if you like Dungeons and Dragons and turn-based combat, if you don't like any of that, you're not.
I ain't no nerd, dude. No,
I ain't no.
I was playing Fallout in there like all day.
Well, most people draw the line at Dungeons and Dragons. Like, people are like, well, I'm not that nerdy.
Right.
But Dungeons and Dragons is great. Baldur's Gate 3 is great. A guy that was like working on the game got fired because they looked at who he followed. And I don't know who he followed. It was probably something real bad, and I don't know. But I just saw the headline where it's like he was following some problematic accounts.
He's following Andrew Tate, like working as a developer.
Yeah,
he's just like nerdy as fuck by day, and then he goes home and he's scrolling and he's like,
and he was probably
all women are stupid.
Yeah.
He's like, top G.
They're like, Jeff liked this. And they're like, fuck you, Jeff, you're fired.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's very silly. But I'm saying this, and somebody's going to read this article and be like, well, he was following a satanic Nazi. I'm going to be like, well, okay. But
that's so fun. That's a funny one, dude. It's like he designing the swords by day. On a computer, and then he goes home and it's like, this is how I have 3 women that I date.
Yeah, he's like,
and they
I
all
agree
clean
that women
and cook for me.
Yeah, women shouldn't have rights. Like
hard day at work. Cheryl was being a bitch.
That's funny. That all he got fired for was.
Yeah. There was a like, I forget who it was, some guy in like one of the bigger metal bands, like a guitarist of some band. He liked some Matt Walsh post. Yeah. And I don't even think it was like relevant what kind of post it was, but it was just the fact that it was Matt Walsh. Somebody saw it or something. Which, why are you creeping that hard, dude? You're like looking into who likes shit. The metal community, metal community is one of those that they need to lighten up, dude.
Yeah, I think I posted.
That's my role in the metal community, is to talk shit on a podcast and just tell them how they need to fucking lighten up, dude. Take a joke.
I think I posted a joke about it, like posted the article with a joke, and then I was like, this is political, and took it down because I just don't like to do that. But I was like, we're unfollowing, or like we're firing people for who they follow now. It's like, or we're looking at who people follow now. I got to unfollow some porn stars, you know?
You better not look at my shit.
Yeah, don't.
That guy that throat fucks those girls on OnlyFans that I just love, I better unfollow him, dude.
I mean, his cars are so cool. And his penis.
I wish it was mine. I wish mine looked like his. I wish I knew. I don't know any of those guys' names to riff on.
Me neither. I know the one porn star that I follow is Angela White.
Angela White.
She did a really cool like POV library video where they were like sneakily doing it in the library, and it's awesome. Nice. She's got.
Is that what you're into, dude? You're so smart. That makes sense, dude.
Not library specific. So smart, Thank you for thinking I'm smart.
You only like library porn because you're so well read.
Dude, shut up. I'm only smart about like I absorb a lot. I know a lot about like superheroes and horror movies. Nothing that's useful.
Yeah.
You know. So and then I can talk. Good.
So that's why you want to fuck in the library, so maybe you could learn something.
Exactly.
There you go.
But I like POV for sure. Mm-hmm. Where like
especially when
it's
there's
like,
books involved.
Yeah, I like where it's like I'm holding the camera and then just I only see the lady.
That's nice.
Yeah, it is fun.
Why do you think you prefer that?
I guess I'm super straight, brother.
It wasn't a trick question.
I guess it's because I'm super straight. I don't know. I like just seeing the woman, and I put myself in their shoes. You get a lot of dick in POV because it's like right there, but I guess I can just put myself in the mindset that's my dick.
Oh,
now,
okay.
with POV,
you're driving, dude.
This is so funny, and it's gonna sound racist. If it's a POV video, it's got to be a white dick.
Got to be a white dick, otherwise it's not realistic.
I can't put myself in the shoes if it's a big old black hog. I'm like, well, that's definitely not my dick.
That does not look right. To scroll through the videos to find the right dick that looks exactly like yours.
And I don't know that I like look directly at the dick ever, but but I can like kind of block it out of my head and like put myself in those shoes.
Why do you like POV so much? A lot of dick.
It's the most dick I can
like
get.
a dick-focused
Why
porn.
is that lady in the way?
Can we just get a POV jerk? Does that exist? That's got to exist.
And you can definitely look. I don't like. I think there's stuff from like the lady's point of view where you just see the dude like just like
in a hotel room chair, dude, just beating off. That would be terrible.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun.
Porn is fun, dude.
Porn is fun. I think I'm gonna try to cut it out.
What, the porn?
Yeah.
It's probably good.
It just desensitizes me.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like
it makes you. I remember I used to watch it a lot, and I probably use it too much. Everybody uses it too much, but it's like how much is too much? I used to do it more when I was younger, but it's like I do feel like it it makes your interactions with women weird. You're like, ugh, I don't know.
And we never watch porn in Texas.
Yeah, we've never seen it. Especially not with a VPN. I'm not that much of a porn app. To go download a VPN so you can watch porn.
Crazy.
I don't think I need a separate app, dude. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll just go on a walk.
Well, yeah.
Maybe let's go walk this one off, dude.
Yeah. I would. I'm gonna go for a run. I'm not gonna download a VPN.
I'm gonna use this energy. I'm gonna use it in a different fucking way.
I'm gonna go box.
Yeah, I'm gonna go beat some dude up, dude, for fun. No, the VPN thing is wild. Like, I don't know why.
I feel like I'd be more likely to download a VPN to like watch something that's only on Canada's Netflix,
right?
Than I would to like get into to hack Pornhub.
Yeah. This podcast brought to you by ExpressVPN. If we had sponsors, that'd be a great time right there, dude.
How do you get sponsors? Do you need more viewers?
I think you just need to be good at this. I don't know. Maybe someday.
Because I would like to make money off Spooky Fun Time eventually. It's probably a long time.
I think
coming.
it's just numbers, yeah.
Yeah,
They start. My buddy has.
They start reaching out to you.
A conspiracy theory channel, and he has like 80,000 subscribers and gets like 100 something views per video.
Yeah,
and they reach out like Athletic Greens reached out to him, and I was like, damn.
Okay.
So they just start. You put your email in there, and they just, if your channel has enough traffic, would surprise you. I think. From what I've seen.
Yeah, I'll look into it. Yeah, I don't even know where to start with that, but that's something that I would like to do eventually.
Pod's been going good though.
Pod's good. Yeah, I've got 3 episodes out. I'm releasing a 4th one later today, and then I've got 2 more banked already. Nice. I'm recording like 2 every 2 weeks.
2 every 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then I release them weekly. But that's just how it works for me, because I got to pay for the studio time and stuff. So financially, it's just I get it for 2 hours. I'll record 2 episodes, take a break the next week, and record 2 more. I doubled up before I left for Alabama.
It sucks. I was like trying to bank episodes really hard when I first started, and man, it's nice to have them, but then you also kind of get lazy, and then then you go from having too many to not having enough, like really quick.
Right.
So I'm like, fuck, man, I'm just gonna record them and put them out.
Yeah, I'm gonna try
to do that.
I'm gonna try to stay on top of it. Like so far, I'm on schedule, and I only have like 2 extra episodes at a time. Like next week, I'll release Maverick McWilliams episode, and then the following Thursday I'll record.
Funny, so.
Yeah, he'll be great. And then it is a good episode. Yeah. And then the following Thursday I'll record 2 more episodes. Nice.
Yeah. How long have you lived in Austin?
1 year and almost 2 months. It'll be. I moved here March 5th of 2023.
Okay. You liking it so far?
Yeah, I love it. The first year, I mean, I was so I deal with depression and shit. The first year was tough. Just like not having not having real friends, really. Like now I have so many friends. Mm-hmm. You and
you as well, buddy.
Yes, but yeah, now I have a community now, and I have I'm grounded now. I've been dating, and now I've been seeing a lady for like a month. I'm established.
She a librarian?
Yeah, she's a librarian. Yeah, she's a sexy librarian. The glasses, the boobs, the whole thing. And now I'm getting to the point in my comedy career where I feel like in Austin, most people that run shows, they know that I'm funny, and I don't have to put as much pressure on myself to kill every time. I can be a little more loose and
have fun,
try out some new stuff. And people some of my colleagues might agree with the thing that I probably don't put out new material as often as I should. I do, but yeah, I'm just
on stage.
Yeah, on stage, I feel like a lot of times I just want to kill, and I do some of the same stuff every time.
Yeah,
but I'm working on
with that too.
Yeah.
I'm working on how to because I've only been doing comedy for like a year,
right?
And I started here, which is people have told me is kind of weird because like there's some things here like there's not as much hosting here.
This would be a tough place to start, buddy.
Yeah,
I think that
it's still I have a lot of fun with it. I think it's lower stakes for me.
Yeah,
like
it's lower stakes, and you're ingrained in the comedy. You know, you're talking to me right now, and then like you do Ridley, like you have friends. You're doing the right things. You're networking. You're invested in the comedy world a little more than the average open micer.
There's just so many people to learn from out here, and as long as you can be like self-aware and like I don't know, humble enough to be like I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just here to, you know what I mean? And comedians are like chefs where it's like, you know, I know the recipe. You know what I mean? A lot of the times, a lot of them are it's big personalities.
They think that their product is ready for the world. Like there's comics in like my home scene, every scene where they think they start posting clips and they just think, oh, this is my product. It is finished. And I just have to find the people for my product. It's like, no, this is a fucking marathon, not a sprint. You want to get your product good. And then when you get to a point where a lot of people are going to see your product, it's good.
Polished.
With Bill Burr, for example. He was like a 12-year road dog, then had that fucking rant in Philly go viral.
Oh, yeah.
And then he had the product to turn it into a big-ass, super successful career.
That makes sense.
But if you don't get your product good and then you blow up, it's like you get blow up on a TikTok or whatever, you go on tour for a year, your agent wants to make money off of you because he knows you're not going on tour again, and your tickets are overpriced, and then you do that for a year, and then the next year nobody wants to come back and see you because they went and saw you last year and it sucked.
Right. Ooh, that would suck.
Yeah. But that's not, you know.
It's not the end of the world.
It's not, and it's not all.
You can repair.
And that's not true for every single TikToker that also does comedy. There's some guys, like I opened for Scott Cease. He got famous off of TikTok. Very funny, great comedian. He was also in Cocaine Bear. He's one of the paramedics. You haven't seen that one because you don't watch a lot of silly horror movies.
I watched Cocaine Bear.
You did watch Cocaine Bear? Okay,
yeah.
You remember the guy, his fucking arm falls off? He's like in the he's like in the ambulance chase scene.
Okay.
He's running for the bear. He jumps in the back of the ambulance, and then the bear chases them and jumps in the back of the.
Once.
It jumps in the back of the ambulance with him, and like he's like falls up against the driver's seat, and he's like right next to the driver, up against the center console, and he like does this and looks at her, and then his hand just kind of falls off like it hangs there. That's Scott Cease, great stand-up comedian, got famous off of these like IKEA videos on TikTok.
Really?
Yeah, so it's not true for like every.
It's wild what people get famous for.
Yeah, it is wild. It's cool.
TikTok.
It's kind of neat. It's kind of neat that you can do your own thing.
I just feel like comics, just like a lot of the ones I meet, not all of them, but you know, it seems like they're not having fun. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, dude, have fun. Just pull back for a second and be like, you know what? We're just having fun here. Like every once in a while, remind yourself that if we're not having fun, then we shouldn't be doing. You know what I mean?
I have to be mindful of that. I did a spot on this tour in Atlanta, and I did like 20 minutes, and I felt like it fizzled towards the end. I was like super sweaty. Like, I just felt like I was working really hard.
And not getting the response.
Yeah,
that you
and
wanted.
but I had a pretty good set. Like, especially the first 18 minutes were good, and then like I just fizzled towards the end. And I got off stage, and I was like, fuck. And my buddy Liam was like, you did good. Just remember to have fun. I was like, oh, yeah. Liam, shout out Liam Harvey. He let us live there at his place for like 3 days.
Which sounds like trivial or whatever.
No, but it's true, brother. Yeah. When you've been doing it 5 years, sometimes you need a buddy to remind you. It's
I'm sure I'll get there.
Hey, you grumpy bitch. Remember, have fun. And I always
try even if I'm bombing, I'm like, we did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we got up. It was fun.
Yeah, that's what I've started saying to buddies. Instead of go up there and kill, I'll be like, hey, brother, have fun. Like, go out there and just be loosey-goosey, have fun.
Because you can see that shit.
You can see
stage,
it,
dude.
You can tell. You can
see
tell when somebody's not having a good time.
They're just like huffing and puffing between when they don't get the reaction they wanted to, and they like their face just like drops.
Yep,
you know what I mean?
I've definitely had sets where I did that. I gotta remind myself of that.
Everybody
all the time.
probably does, but yeah, it's a rough job.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to say it's easy to have fun, especially when. And it was like, it's almost like the most I've ever been doing it in a week. Like I was going up like twice or 2 or 3 times a night at mics for like a couple weeks stretch. And that was when I was doing the worst. I'm not saying go up less, but like I wasn't having fun. It was just hard. I did the whole grind life thing. And it was like, I don't know if that's for me.
I think it's good to do that as much as you can. I think especially when you're new, you do need to get on stage and like work the muscle as much as possible. But there becomes a point where certain mics, especially in Austin, because there's so goddamn many, there's so many comics, some of them are not helping you. Now, if you're at the stage where you just need to go do it, keep working out the muscle, I get that, I respect that. I think it's good that you did that for as long as you did. You don't have to do that that's not sustainable long term. Yeah. You're going to burn yourself out, and some of those reps become not useful.
For me, it's like if I have a show too, like if I have something to work toward, like that's... Yep. Which is kind of a chicken and egg thing. Like you got to go and eat the shit a little bit before you.
And it also
I haven't eaten as much shit as anyone else. I haven't done it as long and probably haven't been going as hard as a lot of people go. And so and I battle with that. Like am I allowed to be doing it if I'm not, out there going up 3 times a night, 7 days a week? And it's like, dude, I'm just having fun.
Yeah, just
leave me alone, guys.
Yeah, do what you think is fun. If you have a week where you don't have a lot of other shit going on, which is probably not going to ever be the case for you, I know you're a busy dude. But if you have a week where you're like, well, I don't have a lot of pods this week, fuck it, I'm gonna grind. I'm gonna grind this week. Yeah. I'm gonna do these 3 shitty mics. I'm gonna do one while a dude's playing a piano, and I'm gonna really like try to work out a new 5 this week. And
I've been kind of trying to make the mics or like just getting up at like that. It's almost like a treat for me if I've been writing.
Yeah,
right.
It's gonna be less fun if you don't have anything new.
If I'm just gonna go up and do the stuff that I already know, because I'm finding out that my musician brain kicks on when I know something and I've done it enough times. Yeah, I'm like, oh, I know that song.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, cool. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I know the lyrics to that song. You know what I mean? And so I know where everything goes, but then trying the new stuff is where the mics, you have to.
It's where it gets more fun.
It's scary.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary. You're falling without a parachute a little bit.
I did go up and do like just 3 new things the last time I went up, and I was like, all right, cool. Now I have some shit to work on. Once you put it out there, it's like, all right, that's what I'm working on now.
Yeah, I do some mics. A lot of the time when I'm working out new material, it's when I'm barking for a guest spot. So I get a 5-minute guest spot.
Explain to people what that is that don't know what that means.
Yeah, so barking.
A lot of metal people listen. We should be barking in the metal scene, but we don't do that anymore.
Why didn't that used to be a thing?
It used to be handbills and flyers, bro. Now it's just fucking like my band on Facebook.
Yeah,
I think accept the invite.
I think barking. You're not going to be able to sell out a comedy show only barking. Barking is where you stand out on the street, usually in trade for a combination. In Austin, it's usually a combination of, in New York, from what I understand too, it's like a combination of a little bit of cash and then you get some stage time.
Right.
And I also bark sometimes just for the cash, because I know that like some of the people that'll book me to bark, they're like, hey, I don't have a spot for you this time. You want to do it for money? I'll be like, sure. But then that same guy will be like, hey, you want to host this Saturday? And it's like, oh yeah, for sure. So I just try to like help, and then it also makes me money, so it benefits me. Because like Lucas McCrary, for example, he's awesome. Yeah, he pays like you get like a commission based off of what you sell. He puts promo codes on the things that like personalize. That's
kind of like the metal scene a little bit.
Bianca does the same thing for her Sunset show. So they track your progress and you get rewarded for actually working. Because some guys, it would be easy to like get those flyers, go in a coffee shop somewhere, chill for 2 hours, and then go and do your spot.
Oh, and that has probably happened.
It's probably happened. I don't do it. I try to work hard and try to like get in. You make more money usually when
I like barking.
Yeah, barking's not that bad.
It's fun before a set.
It's hard when you're having
you up a little bit.
I always joke about it. It's funny because I mentioned the depression earlier. If I'm having like a bad mental health day, going to get rejected for 2 hours is a bummer.
Yeah,
yeah, but it's.
What's your line that you use when you're barking? Like what?
I try to keep it as concise as possible. I try to be funny sometimes, but it's like I just try to give out as many flyers as possible. And then if they actually seem interested, that's when I'm like, okay, if you come, use this promo code, you'll save $5, and it's going to be a great show, you know, and tell them to, like, you know, go to checkout, type in Blue20 as your promo code.
It's a lot to try to fit into, like, just walking down 6th Street. If people that are listening that haven't been here, they don't understand.
If they're like, oh, shit, we were looking for something to do. Thank you so much.
I was closed off, 5 blocks downtown where there's just people walking drunk as fuck, and you're trying to get their attention.
Yeah. So my line usually is just like, I'll say, like if it's like a group of guys, like, hey, brother, comedy show tonight if you're interested, 20% off tickets. Or, hey, brother, comedy show tonight, 8 o'clock, Sunset Strip. Like, just, I'll do it quick. And like, hey, brother, like, just like get right into it. Or like,
be like, oh, shit.
Or like, hey, ladies, comedy show tonight if you're interested.
Right.
Just real quick. And then if they're like, ooh, then I'm like, 20% off. Use promo code Blue20.
There you go.
And then I was like,
you just learned how to bark, folks.
Yeah. And then when they're like, oh, you have, then that kind of locks them in. Or sometimes they'll be like, I'll buy it right now. And then you walk them through it. Okay, Blue20 right there. All right, there you go. You're at checkout. Boom. Like, just walk them through it. But, I need to, like, sometimes it's good to, like, at least, like, Lucas prints his on the things. If you have a promo code, write it on the flyer, and they'll always have it. If you just hand them the flyer, they'll be like, hey, let's go to this comedy show. Yeah. Oh, there's the $5 off or whatever.
I just think it's a cool warm-up of just talking to strangers and just being around, you know, it's a good warm-up of, like, not caring before a set.
Yes, it is good. Yeah,
right?
It loosens you up a little bit.
Because you're like, I've already been, you know, rejected by, 20 people out there. So we're going to be good. We're going to go in this comedy show and be good.
Yeah. Sorry, I keep talking.
No, you're good, dude.
It helps when you know, it helps you get to that 2 hours of that to know that you're about to do the thing that you love afterwards too.
It is kind of nice. You're kind of licking your chops.
Yeah. And it's always like usually when I bark, it's a good goddamn show. Like, it's a reason they can afford to pay someone to bark, because it's a good if you're out on 6th Street and somebody hands you a flyer, it's probably a good show.
Probably going to be good.
It's probably going to be good. Yeah. The bad comedy shows,
don't have barking.
No, they're not paying someone to bark because they're not making any money, you know? But that's not always true. There's also good shows that they don't bark for, but if you do get a comedy flyer, odds are
that's not a bad observation.
Yeah, it's going to be a solid show. And I like that too, because now I'm doing 5 minutes in front of a crowd. I work at, I've got this one bit that I've been working on. I've gotten to where I don't sit down and just write. Some comics.
How do you do your writing stuff?
I feel like some comics will write down a complete joke. Like, there's some very smart comics in town. I've never been able to do that. Probably ADHD or whatever. But I heard Burr talk about I'm a big he's not even my favorite. As far as his material goes, he's not my favorite. But I really I follow his career, and I heard him talk about
the way he does shit.
The way he does shit is cool. And he talks about, and he's way ahead of me, Maron's the same way. They have a premise with a line that definitely gets a laugh, right? And then they go on stage with that line, and you basically put yourself in a situation where I have to come up with something.
I got to get to that.
Yeah, I got to riff and get to that line. So a lot of times, so I started off with one premise and then one line that gets a laugh, and then I riff, and then I get another pop. I have that recorded. I'm like, ooh, that was good. Mm-hmm. There was a joke I was talking about where this girl that I was in the bedroom with wanted me to give her permission to come. And I was like, and on stage I riffed. I was like, I'd be tricking my buddies. You know, they're like, hey, Brent, you coming? I'm just like, I already did, brother. Yeah. You know, and then what I riffed was, I got to go back in my room and change my panties. Because that was just how I talk. I just say panties.
She wanted permission? Or she wanted you to ask for permission?
So she was about to come, and she's like, I ain't going to do it until you tell me it's okay.
Is that how she said it?
No, she didn't explain.
This is a girl from back home,
She was
dude.
like,
I ain't going to come until you tell me, Brent.
The first time I felt like she was climaxing, and then she goes, tell me when. And I knew exactly what she was talking about when she said it. She's like, tell me when. And I was
like when the waiter brings you Parmesan.
That's Olive Garden. Yes, that's the first line. So I say we were wrestling.
Hell yeah.
And then she goes, tell me when. I was like, when to what? Is this like an Olive Garden Parmesan situation? So that's the first line. It's like, you got cheese under there? What's happening?
Nice.
And then I added she's like, bro, I want you to tell me when to come. I was like, you don't call me bro. And she's like, She's like, well, when you're here, you're family.
Oh yeah, I think I heard you do that.
It's brand new and I love it.
Okay,
Well, it's pretty new. I've been working on it for like a month. Okay. Because it started off where I was like, yeah, I've been in the bedroom with this lady and she wants me to give her permission to come. But I started off as like a mystery. It's like she says, tell me when. I'm like, when to what? What are we doing here?
Yeah, because it was a
it was. Yeah. So, yeah, it's fun. So
awesome.
I've gotten to where I do that, and it might be lazier, and it's slower for sure. But I come up with a premise, I get a line, and then I just trust myself to, like, hopefully come up with something on the spot.
We're going to figure it out.
But sometimes I don't, and it bombs, and I'm like, okay, well, that was new, and I'm sad I tried it. And that usually gets a laugh.
Like, anyway, here's some shit my dad used to say when I was a kid.
Exactly.
Fall back.
So then I go into something strong that I know for sure works. Yeah. So I do a lot of, on those, like, guest spots, I'll do, like, a couple of old things, put it in a new thing, and like close with a.
You got a lot of those Southern-isms memorized. Like, is there? Okay, do you have like real ones that are like, because we went on this thing when we're in the van, on tour. It's just like constant trying to figure out shit to keep ourselves amused. And my bass player is like super autistic, nerding out on stuff.
Pokey?
Oh yeah, I got this golf tee thing here. But he just started looking up all these Southernisms. I can't remember any of them, but it's like
I can hit you with some. So on the radio at 4 o'clock every day, I used to have to call this guy. His name was Tom at TNG Auto Sales, and he was like an older preacher guy, and he would always have one locked and loaded. I'd be like, Tom, how's it going today? He was like, actually, the one that I have in the joke about my dad, Tom is actually the one that said it. He's like, if I was any better, I'd be twins. Or he would say, I'm finer than a frog hair split 3 ways.
What? Finer than a frog hair split 3 ways?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's like do you need me to explain that? There's not. But if there were, you couldn't see them because they're so fucking thin. And then you split that 3 ways, you're fine as hell.
Yeah, exactly.
You're good. What's like another one? Oh, I heard this one recently. I think Maverick actually said this one. He was like, I'm luckier than a 2-dick dog. But he heard that one from like a different old man, They're really fun.
I wish there was like an archive of those.
And then
I wish there was a book that you could buy, a little pocket book that just had this archive of these old Southern.
Dude, they got it. Well, they all fucking swap them, and they like think they're the ones that came up. Like I worked in that convenience store in college. You would always have old men like say the same lines.
Can you look some up, Tony? While we're talking,
Southern colloquialisms.
Oh, that's what they're called. Colloquialism.
Yeah. So these old men would come to the gas station, and they would all have the same jokes. Like they hand you a $100 bill, and you go to market, and they're like, "I just pulled that one off the press." And then they all think, I made that up. It's like, no, you didn't, motherfucker. Like, you're the 10th guy that said that today.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like my dad at restaurants, and all old men have these like lines. It's like, can I get you anything else? My dad would be like, you can get us a wheelbarrow to get us the fuck out of here.
Oh, right.
Like, I'm full as a tick. That's a big one, full as a tick.
Oh, my God.
Have you ever heard?
They're all the same. I've heard all these a million times.
Have you ever heard, like, when you're looking for something and you can't find it, but then you find it and it was close by? It's like, if it was a snake, it would have bit me.
Oh,
you ever heard that?
Yeah.
That's a big one. I like that one a lot. If it was a snake, it would have bit you. I've said that at the airport before.
You can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear.
He's as drunk as Cooter Brown. I've heard that one.
What?
Yeah, she's as happy as a dead pig. She's happier than a pig in shit. Or
she's as happy as a dead pig in the sunshine.
Yeah, yeah. She's madder than a wet hen. I've heard that one. Madder than a wet hen.
You're lower than a snake's belly in a wagon rut.
I've been running all over hell's half acre. Oh, that means busy. That's fun.
I like that they have the decoding on there.
I've been running all over hell's half acre. That's fun.
They have the definition. That's great. Is there more? We could read these together for 7 hours.
Yeah, these are great. Southern saying. My druthers. You won't hear anywhere else. Heavens to Betsy.
Are they gonna get? Oh my God.
Oh, bless your heart. Full as a tick.
Full as a tick. You're right. If I had my druthers.
Yeah, if I've heard that before. If I had my druthers, I got a hankering for something, tore up.
This is a terrible list.
It's not bad. These are.
Mine could.
I might could. I got a hankering for a tomato sandwich. That was the example. Have you ever had a tomato sandwich?
It's just water and mayonnaise.
Dude, it's just white bread with like a fresh garden tomato, mayonnaise, and you salt and pepper the shit out. Mainly, you want pepper for sure. Salt's optional. Salt and pepper on that fresh garden tomato.
It's funny that that's
slice.
considered a Southern thing, because I would also consider that just a poor thing. That's
maybe. Well, that's a lot
I
of the
did that
South.
when I was a kid and I didn't have any money. I couldn't go buy food. I would just eat a tomato.
Well, that's a lot of just putting cornbreads and pinto beans. That's like probably a poor person food, but like we love it in the South. It's great.
I've never had that.
Yeah, it's good. Like turnip greens too.
When's the last time? What's that? A two-tailed cat in a room of rocking chairs.
I can't get no suction.
You can't. Oh, it's probably here.
Yeah, I tried to stab, but I sucked at it. Don't pay him no mind.
That dog won't hunt.
Yeah, that dog won't hunt. That's great.
What the hell does that mean?
You can put your boots in the oven, but that don't make them biscuits.
That's a new one for you, dude.
Yeah, that's great. Because I've heard similar
your
ones.
boots in the oven, but that don't make them biscuits.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I've heard like you can put a flower in an asshole, but that doesn't make it a vase. My friends are probably, if anybody listens to this, are probably like yelling super good ones at their podcast.
Hell yeah. I wish, dude. I wish we had them on. Nervous like a whore in church. That's a classic one. Nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. I like that one, dude.
Dude, I could call a construction worker buddy and get him to say one on speakerphone.
That would be fucking awesome. Is he going to answer?
Yeah, probably. Miles is about to get off work. Let's see. Yeah, he usually calls me when he gets off work. He's probably about to call me in an hour. Can you hear that?
I think it's big.
Hello.
Hey, Miles. You're on a podcast with me and Taylor Gore. We were talking about Southern sayings. Can you hit me with a couple that you've heard? Just think about, I've probably said some that you would, like I've said, if I was any better, I'd be twins. The one that... Yeah, I'm hanging in there like hair and a biscuit's great.
Like a hair and a biscuit?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, he's literally at the machine shop right now.
He's just like taking this call with a cigarette in his mouth.
Yeah, we can hear you. You're fine. Yeah, it is loud. Hit me with another one.
Oh, God, you put me on the spot.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry.
It's all good. I feel like a guru now. I don't have any in my pocket. Shit.
What slicker now shit?
Slicker now, shit. Slicker and come on a gold tooth.
Slicker than cum on a gold tooth.
Yeah, that's great. All right, buddy. I appreciate you.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, see you later. Call me when you get off work. All right, love you. Bye.
That's awesome, dude. Is that your roommate or something?
He was like my fraternity brother, and we kind of started comedy together. He started a couple months after me. Before I started doing comedy, we would always go to shows together. We would go to Zany's Nashville, and then when Stand Up Live Huntsville opened, we started going there. And then I started comedy. He started a couple months after. He hosted, when we did this last run, me and Matt Banwart, it's Miles Nesbitt. He's a very funny comic. He
Sounds familiar for sure.
He hosted... He hosted the show that we did at Singing River Brewery in Florence. But he's just a very good friend of mine. He's like a lot of my, we're very different. He's like, he likes to hunt and fish and shit, but you guys
are just like a gang of Southern dudes.
Yeah, but I was the nerdy one,
I like to think about like all the different friend groups out here at comics, like what kind of shit they would do on YouTube if they blew up and got a ton of money. Dude, you know what I mean? Like you'd be like, you and CJ would be like flying like those inflatable boats around, for like the bayou boats.
Yeah,
dude.
me
just
and
like
CJ
doing donuts in the middle of the bayou.
Here's the thing with Miles, and we talked about this before. If he didn't have a wife and kid and like a good job and like stable, he would be here with me.
Yeah,
and he would probably.
Where's he live now?
He lives in
Alabama,
Tuscumbia, Alabama, up on Hawk Pride Mountain. He's a mountain man. He's got a garden, like long hair, beard, cool as shit. That. Yeah,
Hawk Pride Mountain.
Dog, wife, son. He's living it. Because we came to that like. So since I moved to Austin, we've almost gotten closer because it's just like he's living vicariously through me, and I sometimes want the white picket fence, so I like to call him and ask him about his wife and kid. He asked me about what crazy shit I did last night, and it's like we've grown closer because we've basically admitted to each other that I wish I was doing what you were doing, and you wish you were doing what I was doing, so we get along more than we ever have.
That kind of goes back to that like thing we were talking about at the beginning of the podcast of like fixing your relationship with your hometown by leaving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I kind of
Yes.
fixed my relationship with my hometown by just like I don't hate it anymore.
I love
like
that.
when I lived there, I was like I fucking hate this. But I still don't I don't miss a lot of things about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
but I always look forward to like going home now, seeing people and hanging out with friends and family. It's fucking awesome.
It was so cool being home this past time. I was just like,
you were doing shows at home?
Yeah,
I bet that was sick.
In Huntsville, and then my college town, Florence. My hometown, there would be nowhere to do shows. My hometown is like 1,200 people.
Shit, you're a real one.
Yeah, like going to town was driving 30 minutes to Decatur, Alabama. Like, I'm going to town. Y'all need anything?
To where?
Decatur, Alabama.
I thought you said Gator, Alabama. That'd be awesome.
That'd be great.
I'm from Gator.
It's Decatur. The Meow Mix plant is there. It smells like shit.
That's your claim to fame, dude.
Yeah, it's the home of Meow Mix.
The home of Meow Mix.
Yeah,
That's fucking awesome.
It smells like shit. Yeah, but Decatur where it's greater.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then any bigger shopping was Huntsville. Like you would go to Huntsville for Christmas shopping. My parents live about 45 minutes from where I was doing comedy the last 2 years before I moved here. Okay. That was where the club was. There's stand-up live.
Do they support your comedy stuff?
Yeah,
Are they supportive
they
parents?
came to 2 shows during this tour. Yeah, they came to both Huntsville shows. One of them had 3. Well, they came to 2 of them in one night. I jumped on a spot on a show. It had like fucking 2 people in the crowd. It was like a dark. It was called Never Mind.
Yeah, we're not doing this.
But I almost didn't.
Get old shit talking Brent
dude,
over here, dude.
I do shit. I talk so much shit. I
feel like you talk shit on accident. Like you're just like you're just riffing, having a good time, but then it comes out
and then
you're
it
just
comes
talking
out as
shit.
me just talking
shit about your homie fucking Jared, dude.
Well, we weren't super close, but we're cool. I like him.
Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. He hates me now.
Fucking Auburn traitor, dude.
Yeah, fucking turncoat.
People don't forget.
I won't. Hell, I see it's coming out.
Yeah.
I won't.
That means you're getting relaxed, right?
Yeah.
It's what I do when I feel comfortable around you.
Yeah, I do.
You start throwing your twang
and
at
just
me.
riffing. Some things just sound funny, and I don't do it on. I don't consciously make a decision. I'm gonna do a redneck accent now. It just kind of comes out. It's part of me.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it's half of you.
It's one half. Yeah.
Or 2/3.
The other half can read. Fuck you, Dad.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, my dad's family's from Ohio, from Groveport, Ohio, and they have this thing in Ohio, and I don't know what it is because none of them are. It's not the South, so you guys are, you know what I mean? But it's just Groveport.
Yeah,
it's I think it's just like a stupid thing that comes. No, I'm just kidding. But like we get drunk. My dad hasn't. He's lived in Oregon since I was 5, and I'm 33. And he's so he doesn't have an accent, but as soon as he gets around his dad and his my cousins and shit, he starts talking. I'm like, Dad, who are you? I remember being a kid and being like, I thought the same thing about you, like that people were saying about you or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm like,
well, it's not too bad that we're doing it with those accents. It would be bad if we're doing it with black people.
Yeah, that is funny. Yeah, you're right.
You can't emulate.
You can't fake it.
Well, some people do. Some people code switch when they talk to
it depends on
black people.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I feel like,
and I hate that.
I feel like growing up in Oregon, it's easy to do because I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird. There's not a lot of black people around, dude.
Yeah.
And so you see that all the time. I was probably guilty of it at a young age, because Oregon always is like it's like, oh, a black person's here. Hey, how are you? Hey, I always say it's like the customer service. They give them the customer service, and like I've talked to black friends about that, and they're just like, dude, it's the worst.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you know.
Yeah, they definitely notice when somebody's being fake, or that's one thing about.
And you're like, hey, what's up, brother? They're like, what?
Well, that's one thing about doing. I know we probably should stop talking about black people at some point. This is just us, but
no, dude.
But when I've done black shows, it's like majority black audiences. Like I know that may sound weird to non-comics, but it's like when it's a black, crowds are cohesive, and when it's mostly black people, I find that they're very honest about. They can detect bullshit if you're not being real. If you're making some shit up,
I've heard other comics say that on podcasts.
Yeah, and they don't. I think white people a lot. Nice whites will give you like pity laughs and stuff. Black people will not give it to you.
Yeah, like a nice white girl.
No, that's ha ha. Like when it's a fake laugh when you could spell their laugh. Ha ha. Yeah.
Or my favorite one. That's funny.
Yeah. That is so. Yeah, that's what I like actually. Don't laugh.
It's like we're not on a date, bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm dead.
Yeah.
I wish you were dead. Shut up.
Exactly.
But I find that in black rooms, they don't do that. They don't give you any fake bullshit. It's either you're funny or you're not.
Which is good.
And yeah, no, it's good. It makes you good. I think you should be able to do different types of rooms, and that one's a challenging one for somebody like a white kid.
Yeah.
Like a what? Maybe
I don't know.
Or maybe. Well, I mean,
I feel like
some
it's
of my
just if
friends,
you're true to yourself as a comic.
it's be true to, because I was full of shit. I think when I think I'm saying that from experience, because I think a lot of the times when I first started, and still, I'm just now getting like super vulnerable on stage. I'm 5 years in, but it's I think I was full of shit, and they knew it. You know,
dude,
I think that if you're true to yourself, like I have friends that can crush, and I'm do pretty good now in different types of rooms. I've been on the road now. I have more experience. I'm like, okay, well, this joke doesn't work in black rooms. Let's do this one. You know,
how do you go up after a comic with that leaves the stage with like racist cringe, like bombing energy?
I have this.
Like, how would you go up? Because I have a story. I'm not gonna name names.
Give me like a.
Will you
give me like a topic of a joke, like that would be bad or something?
I'm gonna tell you what happened to me, and you can tell me how you would deal with this.
Okay.
I can tell you off camera.
I have a line.
I can tell you off camera who it was, just because it's funny. It's just one of my buddies out here. But I did a spot at Vulcan at Midnight Mass, the midnight show, and I'm all ready for my set. I'm going up. I'm waiting for my buddy to finish getting off stage. He was doing crowd work like the whole time, and he's talking to all these people, and he talks to this table of 3 black people.
Yeah.
And he didn't, like, he tried to make a joke, and it just like, and so his set starts like, going down a little bit, and he goes, I knew I shouldn't have talked to the blacks. And I'm like, dude. And I have to go up and like he's had the light for like
I would've got
30 seconds, and he continued to, like, he won them back at some point, and then did it again. It's like, I like the blacks, like, and I'm just like, stop referring them. That's a new thing in Austin. Everybody like says fag or retarded to try to get a laugh. That's a new one that's happening in the last couple of months, is that white dudes referring to groups of black people as the blacks. And I wish that one would stop, because it puts me in an awkward position. So I had to go up there, and I was like, give it up for my racist friends. I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what I mean?
Was that an open mic or a
no? It was at
Midnight Mass.
And we were all just like dying, because it's like, dude, why did you do that to me? But it was, I won him over, and I was like, anyway, dating is weird. You know what I mean?
And
they're just like, like I just, it was clearly like, I gotta go up and acknowledge, like, that was
you would
weird.
acknowledge it. I might have got up and been like, I'm really glad you guys are here. Or just, I don't know, just like, that was weird, huh? I feel like daddy hit mommy at the dinner table.
Yeah.
And it was racist.
And then just said something racist afterwards.
You got to acknowledge it, I think. I have this line that if somebody tells like a joke in front of me with like a topic, like there was this comic that bombed in front of me at the Mothership open mic one time, but he had a joke like about, it had the N-word in it. It had like a form of the N-word in it.
Like a super close.
Yeah.
Like it sounded like it. Like vinegar or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And I went up and was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to start with. He stole my vinegar joke or whatever. And then that got a pop, and then
there you go. Then then
I was in.
This guy's not racist like the last guy.
He stole my really good Waffle House joke, I think is what it was, because he said the N-word and said Waffle House. I was like, damn. I was like, he stole my Waffle House bit. Like, I don't know what I'm going to start with.
Yeah, you gotta break the ice. That was a good. That was a good learning experience for me.
I should say, because that's gonna sound like they let a bunch of racists in the Mothership. It was a black comic.
Oh, okay,
but he didn't do well.
You did not specify that, dude.
I should. It was a black comic.
You did not specify.
And he told us, no, sorry. Well, because I should have specified. Yeah, he's allowed to say the word, but the joke didn't hit.
Right.
And
that can still be awkward.
Yes. Yeah. And so I was like, but that word was in the Waffle House bit, and I was like, oh shit, he stole my Waffle House bit, and I was in. Like, it was good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's a good experience to try to, because that's one thing that's so different from music, I feel like, is like if a band, dude, you would have to shit your pants physically on stage to like really bomb. And then everybody in the metal community would be like, it's okay that you shit your pants, Bradley. You know what I mean? Like, we still think you had a rockin' set. Like, you know, people like, it's pretty supportive.
Let me ask
but if the band before you like is just not good, then you might lose. You might get some walkouts. People go outside to smoke cigarettes, but it's not gonna fuck the energy up for the next guy. Am I wrong, Tony? Am I wrong? Because you'll just know, okay, we're gonna go out there and fucking destroy, and then the people are like, thank God somebody comes and destroys, right?
Yes.
And whereas like that's been an interesting thing really recently to get used to is just like following different people and like. And on the other side of that,
that makes you
on
better
the completely other side of that, I had to like really like last year at some point early on in doing stand up, probably 6 months in, I followed Cam at the Creek mic, and I wasn't really ready to go up. Like Ridley got me a spot, and the guy's like, "All right, you're up last. You're going on after Cam," and I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like I wasn't even half as confident as I am now.
It's a tough follow.
If I was gonna go up now, I think I'd be okay. I have a couple things that I know are gonna kill.
And
I would go up and make a joke about how this is not gonna go like that because that was like so high energy.
That. I always
you know
say,
what I mean?
Like,
I would say
if you liked him, this is gonna be different.
Yeah, something like that. And I know like now, and it was one of those things like right after. And Ridley, by the way, said I survived the set. It's like it gave me the honest critique that I survived.
Yeah.
But it was kind of quiet, and I went back and I got through the material.
Yeah.
And so I did okay.
That's good. You didn't show your ass. You didn't turn on the audience.
Didn't die, which was good. But it was that's another thing. It's like if a band. Even if a band does really well and then you're going up after them, it's like a complete reset. As soon as that house music turns on and somebody goes and gets a drink, it's like a complete reset and you get a clean slate.
Comedy's like surfing.
You don't get the clean slate.
You got to ride the wave.
Yeah.
It's like surf. There's like a wave coming and you either get on it or you miss it and then you bomb.
It's like a painting where it starts with a blank canvas and then the first guy draws something and then you have to go and then like it's like everybody's adding to this. You know what I mean? And that's been a unique thing to kind of as a newbie. I talk a lot about just the shit I'm learning.
Yeah.
Just to go over it again. And just because metal people don't often go and do stand-up. So it's kind of like, they do actually. I've met a lot of them out here.
Right. That's a very good observation. One of the guys, there's a guy, so the outro song of my podcast is A Box of Porn in the Woods by Heels. And it's a Memphis band. The drummer is a comic, a very good comic. And that's how I met.
Nice.
That's how I met him. And I just thought it was a good fit for the pod, so I reached out to him and asked if I could put his song. He was like, "Yeah, just put us in the credits." And I did get hit with a copyright thing on YouTube at first, but now it just when you hit the description, it just shows
the song
"Box of Porn in the Woods" by Heels.
That's
you can
cool.
click it and buy the song.
I had a buddy from a band. You know who Born of Osiris is?
I've heard. Yes.
My buddy Cameron's the drummer of that band. He's very funny. I think he's done open mics where he just does rap. He does like really funny rap music.
Yeah.
Also a really good rapper. He's like, have you heard Cameron's raps? No. I wish we could play some. I'd probably get copyrighted or something. We could probably play some. But I'll show you after.
Yeah.
But he's like really funny, has a really good sense of humor. And he made my song for me, the intro song for GORCAST.
That's cool.
And outro or whatever. And it's just him going like GORCAST. But it's like, it's just, I was like, dude, make it silly.
And it fits perfect.
And it's like fake metal. Like,
yeah.
Like just corny. Like I wanted it to be like corny metal song, you know, with just and he added the little "you idiot" thing. It's like you are listening to GORCAST, you idiot. And that's
fun.
the end of it. And I was like, cool, perfect, dude.
Yeah, I got a guy to make like a spooky beat for the beginning. He's a DJ. I don't remember his name, but his name is in the credits too. And but I got my buddy Mike Brent, who actually was the guy that fired me at the radio station. He's now my voice guy at the beginning of so we're friends.
The dude whose mom had the cancer?
Yeah,
nice, dude.
And then his dad passed away after that. Now his little brother lives with him. He's doing well, and he's running like 6 stations.
Doesn't sound like he's doing well. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that was a year ago. I think that was the pandemic. Pandemic was tough for everybody. But he wasn't doing. I think he's doing bad. He's doing good, and he's running 6 stations. He's ready to retire. He's a good friend of mine. He's very funny. He was Tic Tac on the morning show, but he's the voice guy at the beginning. And I sent him the script. And it was just like, welcome to Spooky Fun Time, a comedian where a podcast where comedians face their fears. Yeah. And now here's your host, Brent Reed.
I love that. So it's like intentionally corny.
Yeah, but
that's awesome.
But and it's even cornier. he put a vampire, like, Transylvanian accent on it. Yeah, so
Oh
it's
my
like,
God.
yeah, so it's like, welcome to welcome
Oh my
to
God.
Spooky Fun Time,
Yeah.
a show where comedians face their fears. And now here's your host, and he crushed
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah, and he was just
Fuck
like,
yeah.
he didn't ask
and
for
you
any.
kept it in the family.
Yeah,
of
and he-
people that from your start. of
Yeah,
comedy
from
show.
Alabama.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
exactly. I mean, he was my boss for years. We're yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a radio show, and you guys work together at the station. So
Yeah.
you have to have that. On.
Yeah, I
cool.
owe him a lot because also it's like they didn't look into my they didn't ask a lot. I think he was the guy that knew that I was lying about being in school.
Yeah.
He knew.
But if you know and you're cool, you're like, nice. This guy's a dog.
Yeah, and,
This guy just
and it was
wants
also
it.
I was working for free.
Because really, who
they were letting me-
lies about being in college to work for free at a fucking radio station?
I did. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
He's just like, this guy wants it.
Yeah, I did. I wanted a full time. I wanted to work in radio, and I was like, well, college didn't work out, so let's.
Yeah.
Just be here as
I love
often
the
as
dude
possible.
the dude that drops out of college to go work at the radio station.
That's what I thought I was-
What's up, Longhorns or whatever?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that was where I thought that
That's so
that was
funny.
what I thought the height of my career in entertainment was gonna be. That's what I thought that was
You
my
have
peak
to
in
do
show
a
business.
movie. That is a fucking movie premise. The
You
dude that
think so?
dropped out of college.
Yeah.
But still is at the, and you're like still at the radio. Though.
Yeah.
Like we're like a version of your life where you stay at the radio
Yeah.
and you're like older at the radio.
And then people find out that I lied and I get canceled for it.
It's almost like a Van Wilder meets, I don't know, something.
I
like,
stayed there for too long.
Yeah.
I stayed there for as long as Van Wilder stayed in college.
For
Wasn't it
7
like
years?
6 years?
Yeah,
7
he was
years?
there for 7 years.
I was at the radio station for about 6
You
years.
were, dude.
Yeah. Too long.
You were.
Too long.
You know the guy on the radio fucking dropped out 7 years ago, never
Yeah.
left campus?
Yeah. Well, so it wasn't on campus, but it was in the town.
That's funny,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
There's something there, dude.
Yeah,
That
there's
shit's
something there for
funny.
sure. That would be a funny.
That's a good story.
Yeah, I'm gonna have an origin story.
Yeah, that is your origin
Dude, I have a
story.
crazy story that I just told on a podcast for the first time. It's kind of It's like about when I first moved here. I may have told you this story.
Here, where are we
We
at,
gotta wrap
Tony?
up soon.
Oh, wow.
Oh shit!
we
How long
been
are these?
cooking, dude?
How long are these episodes usually?
I mean, usually like an hour. I've been trying to run them like
Okay.
an hour and a half, but it's just do the story. We'll wrap it up. This
Okay.
is couldn't be more perfect, dude. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much. So this story is like when I first moved to Austin. 3 months before I moved to Austin, I opened for a guy. You may have heard of him. His name is Brian Simpson at Stand Up Live Huntsville. And
Flex.
actually, my friend Scott was hosting. I got guest spots because I walked up to Brian. I was like, hey, I'm a comic. I'm a big fan. And he was like, you're moving to Austin? I was like, yeah. And he was like, come do a guest spot. I did a guest spot on
That's
the
so
first show.
cool. What a
and he was,
gangster.
and I did well. And he was like, come back for the late show. And come back for tomorrow, you know? And I, was there every time he asked me to come back. And Lucas McCrary was his
Feature?
Was his feature. And Lucas McCrary is a door guy at the mothership. He was one of the first.
Legend.
He auditioned before it opened and then got the job. He was
Legend
one,
in the making.
one of the original 15. And
Of what? Door guys?
door guys, yeah, it was originally 15 of them. They all auditioned. I
Yeah,
just talked to
there was 50 of them. There was
Yeah.
50
Oh,
auditions.
50 auditions,
It
so
was
15
it was
got it.
on my birthday, and I went and watched it.
And I was talking to Capeglia about this. He was the 16th. Like somebody turned down the job, and then he got that 15th spot. So okay,
Sorry.
so no, you're fine. I opened for Brian. It kind of like did guest spots. It went well. And he encouraged me to move because I was like dealing with girlfriend issues at the time. She was like in Huntsville. She lived in Birmingham. She was in Huntsville. She wasn't talking to me. And I was like upset. And I was like, yeah, I'm moving. I'm leaving her soon. I worry that she was the love of my life and I'm going to regret this. And he's just like, look, move to Austin, chase your dreams. If it doesn't work out, come back. She'll be here when you get back.
Brian told you that?
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and then I hung out with Lucas McCrary at the bars and stuff. I got him another spot at a showcase. I drove him there, and me and Scott drove him there, and he did a guest spot and had a fun set there. And then we rushed him back to the late show before Brian noticed. Like he doesn't know but the shows went great and we weren't late, so that works out. But
because you never want to have your guy be the second set of the night, right?
Yeah, and Lucas was like featuring for Brian. He was happy to be on the road with him for the first time. He didn't want to like seem like he had other shit to do.
Right. Yeah, that's a big deal. That's a big spot.
Yeah, so we took him to this brewery.
This was in Huntsville?
Yeah.
Nice.
So we took him to this brewery show and he leveled.
Oh yeah,
and then we took him back to the comedy club, and so fast forward 3 months, Lucas like helped me just as much as Brian did, if not more. Like Lucas gave me my first like spot here, which gave me credibility to get more spots. He hired me to bark, which other people saw me barking and also hired me to bark and gave me spots because
he got you.
Yeah, he helped me gain credibility very early when I first moved here. So
because it is kind of a weird thing, not to derail your story, but it is kind of a weird thing, like when there's like a new person that comes in.
Yeah, it is weird. But I had 3.5 years of experience when I moved here, so I already had chops, like a little bit. And I was hosting. I was a regular MC at Stand Up Live Huntsville. Like I'd been doing that for a while. And she gave me the booker for that. Gave me more work. Like I'm open for Steve Renazizi and Brad Williams and then Brian Simpson.
All because of that moment.
Yeah,
basically.
all because and
the domino effect of that night in Huntsville.
Yeah, well, that was all in Huntsville before opening for Brian.
Right.
Like that. But like I got those gigs because they knew that I was going to move. She gave me more money and more work with famous comics or successful comics. And then that turned into, so now I have credibility. I've opened for good people. I get it. I am good at hosting. So I had skills when I moved here, but then like Lucas helped me gain credibility where people could see me and put me on good shows and like put in a good word and got me on the mic at the mothership and shit like that. And here's one thing he did. I'm going to get to something that the first thing he did for me when I moved here was I moved here, a week later, Mothership opens. And I'm looking at the show dates, and I see Brian Simpson, Bottom of the Barrel, on Tuesdays, which is an improvised comedy show, stand-up show where you pull shit out of a bucket. The audience.
Best show.
Yeah, it's great. It's the most fun show. And so I bought a ticket. It was like $45, and I was pretty broke, but I was like, I want to see the inside of the mothership, and maybe I'll get a fist bump from Brian Simpson, just like, hey, dude, look, I'm here. You told me to move here, and I did it. So I get there. Who's seating people? Lucas McCrary.
Boom.
And he's like, introduces me to another comic he's like, this is my very funny comic friend, Brent. And I'm like, I'm going to kiss you square on your fucking lips. I'm going to brush your...
on your androgynous lips,
Yeah,
dude.
I'm going to brush your mullet behind your ears.
I'm going to kiss your androgynous
and
lips.
he goes, do you want to sit in the front or the back? And I was like, the front? He sits me front and center at this show. And if you've been in the Little Boy, it's a bar on top of the stage. So I'm sitting there front and center. Third comic up was Joe Rogan, underrated as a stand-up comedian. I'm just like, I know that's weird to call him underrated anything.
I say that same thing to everybody, especially right now, because I used to listen to his stand-up back in the day. And now it's just I've seen him in the last couple of years like a lot. Yeah. And dude, the set he has now is so fire.
If you see him perform stand-up comedy,
sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You just got to see it.
If you see him do it, you're like, oh, this is a guy. You put everything like anything else you know about him out of your head. This is a guy who's been doing comedy for a long time and does it all the time.
And he's just so unapologetically himself.
Unapologetically himself.
He's more unapologetically himself, I feel like, in the material than he is even on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
For sure.
Anyway,
but it was so much fun. I was like, okay, well, this is worth the $45 right here. Like, this is great. Halfway through the show, Brian Simpson takes over as host. Sam Lopez always starts the show, and then halfway through, Brian Simpson does the sponsors and stuff. It's sponsored by Bug Assault. And he switches to host. He's doing material. I think I went to piss because he's hosting. I was like, I'm going to go piss and come back. I was drinking beers the whole time. And came back, sat down. He saw me still on stage, and he goes, hey, where do I know you from? Into the microphone. And I was like, oh, I opened for you in Huntsville. And he goes, oh, shit, you left that girl? And I was like,
he didn't think you were gonna do it.
I also didn't think he remembered who I was. Yeah.
Oh,
but
shit,
that jogged it. And sometimes he forget. He remembers me and remembers that conversation. Sometimes he'll be like, yeah, I met this motherfucker in Tennessee. It's like, well, close enough.
Yeah, same thing.
But he's great. And so he was like, yeah, you left that girl? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, you want to do the late show? And everybody like gasped and starts like clapping. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, all right, come and see me. Stay after. Like, hey, security, he's good.
Whoa.
And I stayed after it. He put me on the Late Show, and now he books me. He gets
now
me.
You do shit at Mothership.
He gets me 2 spots a month. I eventually, after like a long time, it was work. It was 8 months. But I've said this on another, like just did a podcast in Huntsville, and I was like, oh, so much work. I guess it wasn't. I got lucky. It's only been like a year. But it seemed like a long time to me where I was like calling in my avails and stuff. Like I thought I was passed and I was on the list to call in my avails, but I wasn't really getting anything. Finally did the open mic again a couple months ago, and then now I'm getting like a regular spot on the weekend.
At Mothership?
Yeah, in addition to
Congrats, dude.
in addition
That's
to
awesome.
the bottom of the barrels that Sam and Brian give me. So I get like 3 spots
You're
there a
killing
month.
it out here, dude.
I'm trying.
You
I'm trying
followed
very
your
hard.
dreams. You're chasing your dream chaser. If my podcast is about anything, it's about that.
Yeah.
Because I talk to all different kinds of people that are doing cool shit, and that's just what it's all about, bro.
But
shit
you never
happens to people who chase their dreams and get after it.
But you're never content. Like I always want more.
Yeah.
Like I want to be more in.
Right.
But I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, it doesn't serve you that as much as you think. Because you just want to, I think you just need to think about yourself, and then you'll get there.
And compare myself to like 5 years ago.
Yes, or even a year ago,
a
2
year,
years
yeah,
ago.
even
You know what I mean? So, and then also, just like getting lost in the process is so crucial. I feel like, I would just with anything, like just having fun making the podcast. Making the podcast is a great distraction from all the places that you wish you were.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, so do the work as a distraction from, looking at these other guys that are going, doing bigger stuff, or like even guys like, it's hard when our peers blow up like Cam. It's hard for, I see, because like, again, my dream, like right now is not, I'm not trying to be the biggest stand-up comedian ever. So it's like, I see it a little bit third person.
Do you know who my roommate is?
That's why I refer to people as comics. I don't feel like I am one yet. Do you know what I mean?
Speaking of people that blow up that are close to you, do you know who my roommate is?
No, I don't.
One of my roommates is Heath Cordes.
Oh, Heath. Yeah, I knew that.
And that motherfucker is blowing up right now.
But yeah, exactly. Same thing. So it's like, I think it's hard when you're so close to it. You're like, I want that.
Yeah.
But you just gotta like I tell all my other friends, Ridley, and I remind myself too, because I get that way too. Everybody does. It's like we all want to do big shit, but it's like, dude, getting lost in I'm so lost in the sauce right now of just doing stuff because I have to. I built this thing where I'm helping other people with their podcasts, and I do like food stuff for work. Like I take videos of food shit. So I have to just think about doing stuff.
Yeah. And
then people are like, oh, the numbers, this and that. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't want to hear about it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see who's doing what? No, I didn't. No,
you're right. Stay busy.
Because if I do, then I'll fucking lose focus.
Nose at the grindstone.
And it's hard and that's just to say I was there. So I go back and forth and stuff, but like right now I'm still, I went through a thing earlier on in music where I had to just unfollow like everyone I looked up to.
Yeah,
I made a decision. I was like, I'm staring at other bands and other people and other musicians and stuff, and seeing the other tours that are getting booked and going, oh, I wish someday. And I turned that shit off, and then I'm like, not that I don't follow people and get inspired. I get inspired by other people still too, but it's like
that's good.
There's a weird line between like following people because you're inspired and then like following shit and then it taking away from like what you're trying to do.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I'm
thank you so much. I needed to hear all that.
Not that I necessarily have a place of authority to speak from, but
you have some insight that
I've done some shit.
Yeah.
That I wanted to do. I've done some shit where I was like, I wanted to do that, and then I went and did it.
Taylor Gorman, I've done some shit. The name of your special.
Yeah, I've done some shit. Man.
Let me tell you, brother.
I wish I had a Southernism. You can call me a pig in the yard because I've done some shit. I don't know. I tried to string one together there, dude.
I've done some shit like a drunk baby. Or something.
Yeah.
Is there something there?
I don't know.
Done some shit.
Give me another one. Fix it.
Fix that.
Fix it.
Fix it.
You're a professional. Fix it right now in the podcast. Fix it on the spot.
Shit. I'm
you can call me I don't know.
Hell. Give me diarrhea and call me a drunk baby.
Because I've done some shit.
There
you go.
That's something.
That works.
All right.
I love you, Brent Reed. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you, Tony.
You are listening to GORCAST, you idiot.